Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 1st of May 2019, so welcome everyone. I mean, happy holidays for everyone who's celebrating that. As always, guys, in this session, we're going to have a look at the markets, a few of the charts, some of them that we looked at yesterday, just to see how everything's going along. But before we do that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, let's quickly jump into the charts. Now the first one I want to touch on here is the FTSE100. Now the FTSE and the US equity markets are going to be open today, so they're the only two ones that from the major ones which are open. So looking at FTSE and looking what's happening with it, yesterday it did slide a little bit. It slid below this downside resistance line and closed the day below this downside resistance line that I was talking about in one of my previous videos. And this downside line was running here from the highs of May, and basically now it could be that we may see a push towards this little upside support line, this medium term upside support line taken from the lows of December, and this is where it could become a little bit more interesting, because if we see a break below this upside line, now this could turn out to be ugly for the index. But if this is going to act again as a nice bouncing ground for the index, we may see another push higher here. So for now, we're not going to speculate on this one too much. First, given that it's now below this downside resistance line, of course this creates a slightly more bearish situation rather than a bullish one, but then again we need to see that firm break here below the 7,410 level. On only then we'll see, we will consider a possible move towards this upside support line, and probably ideally we would like to see a 4-hour candle closing below this level, below the 7,410. So for now, this could be the scenario here. Again, like I said, be very careful, be very cautious. If this decides to sell off here and breaks this upside support line, well, I mean, be very careful then. Yep, we could see further declines, and who knows, maybe the phrase of, you know, sell in May, go away, that could be true this time. So for now, I'm not going to say too much negative stuff, but again, keep your eyes on this upside support line. Let's see how it's going to play out. Jumping into DXY very quickly, very quick update. So this is what I was talking about. Yesterday. Basically, it traveled now below its 97.52 level. This very key important support zone previously acted as a good area of resistance, and now, like I said, we're going to consider that as a nice area of resistance as well. So yeah, guys, so basically for us now, the next target is around the 97.26 zone, something like that, near the lows of the 22nd of April, but slightly below that. As you can see, we do have this nice upside support line, this nice tentative upside support line, so keep your eyes on that one as well. Again, like I said, we may see maybe a bit of a move back up here, but then again, to be honest, any move higher for now could be seen just as a temporary correction before another leg of selling. So in other words, keep your eyes on this little downside resistance line taken from the highs of last week. Keep your eyes on this one. If we do see a break above this downside resistance line, then that's good for the bulls. But to be honest, for a better confirmation of the upside, we would like to see a nice good push back above the 97.85 level here, around there, guys. So, and only then we'll consider another maybe push higher later on. But for now, it is where it is. It is currently selling off, and let's see if it actually can manage to reach this 97.26 or even this upside support line. Platinum, one of my favorite precious metals. Now, looking at this picture here from the very slightly shorter term perspective, so in a way you can see that this continues to trade above this upside support line taken from the lows of February. Now let me just slightly adjust this line here, because just to capture these little lows here. So yep, there we go, guys. Need to kind of shift this one a little bit. Anyway, let me draw a new one. It will be much easier. So basically this is what I'm talking about. So this little upside support line, in a way you could draw it this way. If you want to capture more lows, then you can ignore this, a few of these overshoots here, and capture these points these points here, which is also a nice line. So in a way, in other words, guys, it is getting closer to this line. It is kind of still tackling this 877 level, 878 zone, and just to kind of show you what that level was in the past, and when we were still trading here, and when I was covering platinum, basically I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on the 878 level, because previously it acted as a very good area of support here back on the 18th of May last year, and then also good resistance area in November. Also kind of was almost hit here in February, and now you can see that it's traveling back down here. It already traveled and tested that area, but never kind of closed the 4-hour candle below it. So in other words, if we see a break below this 878 zone, and we see a break below this upside support line, this would also place the commodity below its 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart, and this is where it could start turning a little bit more worrying for the bulls, because we could see a further slide lower here. The only thing is, the last resort for them would be this long-term downside resistance line that has been running here from 2011. So I'm not going to go back into it, but this long-term downside resistance line could maybe help the bulls as well. Maybe we'll see a bounce here and then another push higher. If this fails to withhold, now this is where it could turn out to be very ugly for platinum, as we could see further declines to the downside here. So something like this could be possible. Of course, this scenario here, this arrow that I've got drawn, this is in the case if we see a break below this short-term upside support line. We may see a rebound from it first. I mean, we probably, it could ignore the break and it could just rebound straight away and push higher. But for those who are more on the cautious side, what you could do here is keep an eye on this 900 level, the psychological 900, 901 approximately there. And if we see a push above that, then this is where you could start getting comfortable again and target higher levels. For now, this is where it is, and yep, let's see how this is going to play out near this upside support line. AUDNZD had a nice pop here this morning. Of course, that's due to the employment change figures that came out from New Zealand, and of course there came out the first quarter employment change was a slight disappointment, or maybe we shouldn't say a slight disappointment. It was a disappointment because the expectation was around 0.5. They came out at minus 0.2. So basically this is the reaction that we had here this morning, and it managed to travel higher but found its good resistance near this key area here near the 1.0617 zone. So in other words, this is going to be the level for us to watch if we want to consider higher higher areas here. Basically, we need to see a nice good pop above this, or especially we'd like to see a 4-hour candle closing above this level in order for us to consider higher areas like the 1.0650 or 85. Keep your eyes on those. In terms of the downside, we're going to take a slightly more conservative approach and wait until we see a drop below this area right here, near the 1.0550. The pair could also travel below its 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart. And for those who like more confirmations, you could in a way keep your eyes on this little area here near the 1.0530, which previously acted as good support as well here on the 8th of April. So in other words, a break below the 1.0550 could initially kind of start spooking the bulls, but a further break below the 1.0530 could be that confirmation break for maybe deeper declines, of seeing deeper declines. So for now, that's the situation here. Keep your eyes on these key levels that I've just mentioned, and let's see how this is going to play out. Euro dollar, very quickly on this one, not going to spend too much time on it because it could be a quiet one up until the FOMC statement today. So keep your eyes on that one. That's coming around 18, don't want to lie, that's around 18 18 o'clock GMT time. So just double check the calendars, but this is for now probably until that statement probably could just be a total drag here. It probably could just stay in one position and wait for the news then. If we see a push above the 1.1228, that's wonderful for the bulls. We could see another push higher here, and we could consider this downside resistance line that I've mentioned in one of my previous videos as well. So, but if it struggles to get above the 1.1228, we could see a slide lower. The only thing is that still for us to get kind of more bearish on this one, we would like to see a drop below the 1.1175 zone. This way, the pair would already be back below its this tentative upside support line, and of course below this key area of support, previously acting as a good support, or should I say yesterday as acting as a very good support level. And yep, this is where we're going to be aiming for lower levels if we see a break below this area. So 1.1175 on the downside, 1.1228 on the upside, approximately there. So keep your eyes on those. EURGBP. Yesterday I was talking about this one. I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this little range. It managed to break it to the downside, and now it seems that it wants to travel lower. So of course, this could be because of, not because of the, let's say, weaker euro. It's more of a stronger pound. Yesterday, as we all know, the pound kind of accelerated to the upside against all of its major counterparts. And I'll get to the GBPCAD here, probably the more interesting one. You can see that this is what's happening here. So basically, of course, this is the area that it found support, where it found support near the 0.85 and 94 zone, or maybe just actually slightly lower near the 90 zone. So in a way, what we could do here is just shift this little support zone here just to mark the low, so that we would have the 0.8590 level. That's what we're going to be keeping a close eye on. And in other words, we need to see a break below this before we can consider lower areas. So that's why for now we're going to remain cautious, because at the same time we could also see maybe a bit of retracement back to the upside here. If it struggles, if in that situation, if it struggles to overcome the 0.8620 zone again, now this is where it could be quite interesting for the bulls, for the bears again, because if it struggles to get above this, then I mean we may see another leg of selling. But that's in the scenario if we see something like this. But for those who are more on the cautious side, you could in a way just sit and wait until we get a break below the 0.8590. And the last pair, very quickly, that's GBPCAD. Now, unlike other GBP pairs. This one is a very interesting one because I was talking about this one yesterday in my Traders Tea Time, and I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on the possible retracement that we could have. So initially what I was saying that we may see a retracement up until here, but even if it travels all the way here towards this area, towards this line here, towards this upper side of the little range that the pair was trading in here from around mid-April, even if we may see another retracement, we may see a rebound and a push back up again. But again, we'll monitor this one very carefully because we need to because currently, as you can see, it's already below its pivot, which is slightly a negative sign. But again, it might change. Everything might change. It could travel higher as it already rebounded from this 1.7430 zone. But to be honest, for us now, looking at this picture, just for that more confirmation of just for that safety, we would like to see a push back above this little area here. Now let me just actually adjust this level because it's not this one here, it's this one right there, so around the 1.7509 something like that level. So this way we could potentially then target the yesterday's highs again, and or even actually going further up here towards the 176.17. But that's in the scenario if we see a push above the 1.7509 zone. So of course this is still somewhat more bullish than bearish, but again we're going to be cautiously bullish on this one because, like I said, we may see a rebound, but just for that better confirmation, let's wait until it travels back above the 1.7509 level, and then we will target higher areas because it's very close to this upper side of this previous range here. And if it breaks below this 1.7430, now this is where it could turn out to be quite ugly for the GBPCAD, as we could see a further slide lower. Don't forget about this little tentative upside support line that could maybe show some support initially, but if it fails to withhold, then yep, a further slide lower towards the this key area of support near the 1.7330 could be possible. But again, that's in terms of the scenario if we see a drop below this 1.7430 level. If the pair travels back up here and breaks above the 1.7509, this is where we'll consider higher areas, especially the yesterday's highs, or even actually going a little bit higher here towards the highs of 4th of April. Okay guys, I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Today's a bit of a quiet day, but again, probably keep your eyes on the FOMC statement later on in the evening today. So yep, I hope you have a fantastic trading day, guys. If you're trading, if you're not, just have a wonderful, maybe relaxing day, and I'll see you later. Please join me today at my Traders Tea Time at 13:15 GMT time. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.